Hi, Kirsten. Hi, Anna. Just thought, well, I'm going to give you some feedback on the draft one of your Digipack so far. So this is going back to a post you did on previous students' work and the 4 areas which you looked at in terms of how you assess that are exactly the same that I'm going to use to assess your work and feedback on your work. So use of camera and Photoshop, mise-en-scène, your copy, or the words, and your DTP, so fonts, colors, and layers and arrangements and stuff like that. Okay, so here's the Digipack so far. By the way, when you export it next time, export it as pages rather than spreads. Then you'll have 4 distinct pages that you can actually cut out and put into a CD. Okay, so on first glance, I like it. I like your consistency of your grading, where you've clearly got a blue color palette, blue and slate gray here. You've got much more vibrance here, but again, and lots of blue, of course, but lots of blue here, and again, lots of blue there. So there's blue. In terms of the color palette, I think this one's stronger because you've got some contrasts on your colors. When you're thinking about colors, it is always useful to have some contrast, and the blue and orange contrast is quite a good complementary colors. Okay, so I think on all of the other 3 pages, I think you should think a little bit more about accent colors. Now, the accent colors could be in your typeface, could be an element here, maybe an orange moon or something like that. Might be quite a nice addition to that. Maybe one of the spokes of your compass wheel could have a color. Now, you can sample the color from here, your favorite kind of orange from here, and make this the same color. Okay, and that would have some nice consistency across it. Otherwise, in terms of the design, the front and back look too similar to me. Okay, I think it's essentially the same shot. It's a long, it's kind of wide shot, extreme long of your star, looking from left to right through the frame. You've got negative space here, and you're using negative space up here. I think you should try and find something different. In many ways, I would prefer one of these on the back. At least there'd be some difference. Or I'd like something quite different for the back, to be honest. So have another look at some of your other images and see if something else kind of might give you a bit of contrast within that. Okay, right. So that's the images and overall tone. I need to talk to you about the mise-en-scène, choice of words. So mise-en-scène is nice. Again, you've got consistency in terms of its outdoors. It's thoughtful, wistful, sad, slightly in terms of the mise-en-scène. That's why I'm kind of want you to pick up a bit more fun out of it, and fun can come through colors, or maybe being a bit subversive. I mean, I really like what you've added here to the edges, this little bump, and this little bump kind of reminded me of a waveform, like a sound. And I was wondering if maybe you could erase this section of the image and then put in something which is much more like a waveform, which is about music, or something like that. Just a thought, you don't have to go for it. I also think possibly you should try and maybe be a bit subversive, a bit non-mainstream, by maybe playing with some of these fonts here. Reverse the capitalization, or make it all caps with a small e. You've got this stroke which you've put through here and here. Kind of wouldn't mind seeing it here in the track list as well. Although, actually worth pointing out is I think you should use a different font for either Bearings or Marler Stone. I think probably Marler Stone, Bearings obviously referring to bearings on a ship and kind of compass. Maybe that's an idea you can play with for the last image. Other definitions of bearings. don't know, just a thought. So yeah, be a bit more subversive, be a bit, change things around, swap around west, east, north, south, subvert this, twist the compass, distort it in some way. Be a little bit more kind of symbolic, I think, in your design, and think about how your design might reflect the overall. I mean, all the conventional features are there. I mean, you do need copyright information down here, maybe a logo. I hate to say it, but a barcode. Obviously, you've got to do your spines left and right. I think you've got some really good work in here. I think there's a consistency, but I think you can be a bit more subversive, maybe a little bit more adventurous in draft 2. Okay, so have a chat, summarize this between you, and decide which ideas you want to take forward as a group, and those are obviously your targets for next time. Please remember this, you don't need to do everything I'm saying. You can talk to other people, get some other feedback, and see what their views are. Okay, I'll see you soon.